What's up, guys? Tim Little. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin. Today's video, we are talking about throwing heavy metal for deep cold water bass. So in my last video, I talked about early spring transition and got quite a few comments about the guys, from the guys up north that are still in ice, and some guys that are in those, and those sandhill cranes are loud. Just different guys that are still in the winter pattern. And I'm sitting here on the boat today, kind of prepping, rigging, just kind of going through things. Just got some trips planned down to Florida, out west. So I'm already thinking about pre-spawn and spawn, and so didn't want to completely forget about you guys that are still in the cold water and still have cold water. So wanted to talk to you guys about throwing heavy metal baits for cold water bass. Believe it or not, this is a 1 3/4 ounce spoon. And you can catch big spots, big largemouth, big smallmouth right now in deep water on a big, heavy metal bait. So I got 5 or 6 different baits for you guys that I want to show you guys. They're just baits that I have confidence in, especially in cold water, catching fish deep. So as you guys transition from the ice, as that ice thaws, or maybe you're in a state that didn't completely freeze over, but you still have really cold water, low 40s, mid 40s, high 30s, stuff like that. These baits will help you guys catch fish. If those of you guys that don't follow us on our other platforms, either Instagram or Facebook, we put up a post, I think yesterday, the day before, just showing me getting my boat ready with some Plano boxes and baits and stuff. And we had a ton of comments or messages on what was in my vault box. Vault, it's not a secret box, it's not my safe box, it's actually my Demiki vault box. So pretty funny. A lot of you guys are saying, I wish I had a secret box or wish I had a vault box, but that's all it is, my Demiki vaults. But wanted to address that. So address that and address you guys, saying must be nice that you're in, the sun. I'm already in shorts. Got to get some rays on these pasty white legs. But it is starting to be pre-spawn. Starting to think about pre-spawn. But we're gonna backtrack a little bit for you guys still in the cold water and talk about some of my favorite baits to catch them right now, and as your ice gets less hard and thaws out. So let's start off by, since we talked about the vault, you guys know that we love throwing blade baits. The Demiki vault is probably my favorite blade bait to throw year round. How much we love lipless crankbaits all the way, 10, 11 months out of the year we throw lipless crankbaits, but in the true cold water, we like to go to a blade bait, something that has less sound and less rattle, and you can work a lot slower. This guy right here, the Demiki vault. Now what I want to show you, this one specifically, this is their new 3/4 ounce vault. You guys know that we love the LV500 so much because it is a 3/4 ounce bait. You can lift it and drop that thing fairly quickly and get that reaction bite. But this 3/4 ounce vault, this is compared to the 1/2 ounce vault. Not too much bigger, definitely bigger, but not drastically bigger. But in the winter time, or we're talking cold water, just lifting that rod tip enough to feel that bait flutter and then drop back down. Flutter and drop back down. A lot of times, the fishing I've done recently where the water still is cold, a lot of those fish are down there deep. They're in that 25 to 60 foot range, depending on where you are in the country, depending on what type of bait fish you have in your fishery. If you have like AOYs per se, those fish go deep, takes the bass deep, so you have to fish deeper. So that's where that 3/4 ounce vault really comes into shine. So again, you're just lifting that rod tip enough just to feel that bait flutter and drop back down. This isn't speed cranking, this isn't throwing quick moving baits. This is cold water, but still throwing heavy metal baits down there on bottom to get those fish to react. So you're just fluttering that blade bait just enough to feel it flutter and then drop back down. A lot of times this time of the year, you're gonna hop it, you're gonna drop it back down, you're gonna go to hop it again, and it's just gonna feel mushy. You're gonna reel down and set. Those fish picked it up and then just sat there. So the Damiki Vault, number one, check out those 3/4 ounce baits. Those definitely shine this time of the year when those fish are deep. A lot of those fish go deep. They stay deep until the bait fish move shallow. When your fishery, even though you're in that cold water, when you start going into that pre-spawn transition, as the water warms up, that's when those fish are gonna come shallower, following the bait. But right now, stay deep with the blade bait. Another great blade bait that we don't talk about a ton is gonna be this guy right here. This is the Binsky. Just has a different fall. You know, the Silver Buddy, those of you guys that have followed our channel for a while know the Silver Buddy, we've talked about that for many, many years. That was the original blade bait, just a chunk of metal that vibrates and falls with 2 treble hooks on it and catches great fish, giant fish. Out west, the biggest fish I know of that was caught on a Silver Buddy is 19 pounds, 19-pound largemouth. That is ridiculous. But the blade bait, so that Binsky just has a little bit different vibration. You can see the way the weight on the bait itself is placed. Different fall, different vibration, but that is a great one to throw in the mix, especially when those fish are deep, throwing that heavier blade bait. So we talked about blade baits. Now let's talk about spoons. You know, in the intro, I showed you guys this. This is that 1.75 ounce dust spoon. You guys know how much we love throwing these guys, you know, year round, throwing them for big striper, but especially right now, cold water, when those fish are deep, a lot of times the bait balls go deep and you can get over them vertically with your boat. Use your 2D sonar, your down imaging, find those bait balls, and you'll see the arches below the bait balls. They'll either be on the bottom or suspended up off the bottom just underneath the bait ball. That is where a spoon really, really shines. Now, 2 different ways to fish a spoon this time of year. You guys know how to hop a spoon. Hop it, let it fall in that semi-taut line, let it fall, hop, let it fall, hop. You know, you're just hopping that spoon. But another way to throw them this time of the year is just flip-flopping. You just want this spoon just flip-flopping down there on bottom. So you're just literally taking your rod tip and just hopping it. Hopping it just enough to pick that spoon up and fall over. You're just hopping it enough, just hopping that rod tip enough to get that bait to flip-flop on the bottom. A lot of those fish are down there on the bottom in that deep water. They're not moving very quickly unless they're actively feeding up in the bait ball, and that's where you're gonna actually hop that spoon through that bait ball. But down on bottom, for those fish that you're seeing on your graph, down on bottom, just flip-flop. So you're not working it, you know, you're not hopping that spoon like I said. But that 1.75 ounce dust spoon, you guys will be surprised. You know, 12-inch spotted bass will eat that. 10-pound largemouth will eat it. So that dust spoon, Morning Dawn, I'll link some of my favorite colors in these, but UV, they are fantastic spoons. With that said, if you don't want to throw an 1.75 ounce, the reason I like throwing that heavy spoon is it gets down quicker. You can go with a smaller version, you know, 3/4 ounce, something like that. Another tip is add a swivel to your spoon. That way you don't get line twist. But just throwing a spoon, get it down there vertically and just hopping that thing enough on bottom to get that thing flip-flopping, and you guys will catch a lot of fish down there on bottom. Last spoon. The deepest bass I've ever caught in the wintertime on a spoon was 87 feet. It was a largemouth. You know, fish go deep in the wintertime. They really do. So if you guys don't want to throw that dust spoon, your basic Castmasters work too. You can see I added that VMC bladed treble on there just for a little bit more flash. But just a normal Castmaster, you know, you can throw this on a spinning rod. You don't need a pretty stout or a heavy, you know, a big bait casting rod to throw a big heavy 1.75 ounce spoon. You can throw this on your spinning rod, but again, get it down there in that school. If they're actively feeding, hop it. If they're down on bottom, just very, very subtly, just hop that thing. Just get that thing just flashing and rolling around on bottom, and you guys will catch fish. Obviously, if you're around rock, having those trebles down there on bottom, you know, have a bait knocker, a good bait knocker to get those baits unhung. But you know, if you're around mud, pea gravel, that sort of stuff, that's where those you're not gonna get hung up as much, and that's where those baits really, really shine. 2 more baits for you. Talking heavy metal for cold water bass. The tailspin. You guys know how much we love the tailspin. Again, it just fits in this vertically fishing category. Yes, you can fire the tailspin out there and reel it back mid-column. Got that big Colorado blade on there just thumping. You know, you can catch them casting and reeling, but this time of the year, cold water, those fish are down and you're just hopping it. Just like the blade bait, you're gonna come up a little bit higher, enough to really feel that blade twisting. This is where I like throwing braid to leader because you have so much more sensitivity. You know, you feel that blade spinning and drop. Now the cool thing with the tail spin is when it falls, it's also spinning and falling. So a lot of times you'll hop it, you'll drop it, they'll eat it on the fall, you'll go to hop it just like that little blade bait, and you'll lift up into weight. That's fish that ate it on the fall. But a little presentation that is heavy, you know, heavy metal. This bait right here is an ounce. That's a 1 ounce tail spin. They come in 3/4 ounce, so you can get down quick. You can stay deep in those, in and around those deep fish. Again, we're talking 25 to 60 feet. Those fish are down there. That little tail spin. Other tailspin that I like is the one by Blade Runner. The only difference is it is a line through. You run your line through the top, come through the belly, tie on your hook. So when you do hook up, now you're just playing the fish on the treble, and this is up on your line, so you're not having that ounce down there in front of their face, you know, getting, when those fish come up and shaking their head, it's a lot easier for them to throw that bait when they have it out in front of them. So with this bait up the line, now you're just playing them on the single treble, and you get a lot more fish in the boat playing them on just the hook. But a tail spin, you know, traditionally you can cast them out there and just reel them back, but this time of the year we're talking vertically fishing, we're talking deep water fishing, and just hopping, just fluttering that thing enough to get that tail spinning up and then tail spinning down. The last bait that I want to talk to you guys about is the little jig and wrap. Ice jig, whatever you want to call it. This is one by Rapala. You can see it's a cool little bait. Line tie right there on top. Got the treble on bottom, 2 jig hooks out the front and the back. This is another great bait to throw on a spinning rod or a light casting rod. Again, you're vertically fishing. When you find those fish on your electronics, you're just hopping this thing. Get this thing up off bottom just a little bit, suspend it in front of them, on, you know, above them, and just hop it. It's got that little forked V, whatever you want to call it, tail. Just gives a real cool shimmy, real nice glide down. But this is another bait to catch them in cold water. Guys, I'm sorry to fast forward and be the bearer of bad news for you guys that are still in the cold weather, the cold water, the iced over lakes. You know, around the country, it is starting to evolve, transition into that pre-spawn, spawn, top water, you know, spring fishing. But these baits right here, if you guys are a few months behind us, these baits right here will produce fish right now when that water is really, really cold. Again, don't be afraid to throw heavy metal baits, heavy lead baits in the cold water months. You guys, these baits catch a lot of fish, especially in that vertical technique. You know, the spoon, the tail spin, the blade bait, you know, they all work. So I'll link all these baits down below in the video description, some of my favorite sizes, colors, all that good stuff. But don't be afraid to go out and fish vertically right now if your water is really, really cold still. Guys, I appreciate it. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. Remember to subscribe to the channel. We're doing a ton of videos, at least 3 a week. You guys know, you guys new to the channel, we do videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And go follow us on our other platforms, Instagram, Facebook. We're always posting different content. But again, guys, that is my Demiki vault box. That is not my special safe or vault box. But guys, we appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon.